Dear students, you are welcome to this presentation on tourism planning. Planning is one of the most important technique of project management and time management. Planning is preparing a sequence of action steps to achieve some specific goals. A plan is like a map. Planning helps you to evaluate your progress towards your goal and you can understand how far you are from your destination. Planning always gives you strength to meet the challenges on your way to goal. Let us have the following points as our objectives to know more about tourism planning. Definition of planning, need for planning and planning process, planning goals and objectives, tourism planning, factors influencing tourism planning and development. Planning is a mental process requiring the use of intellectual faculties, foresight and sound judgment. It is the basic function of management. It deals with sketching out a future course of action and deciding in advance the most appropriate course of actions for achievement of predetermined goals. According to Kuhns, planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do and how to do. It bridges the gap from where we are and where we want to be. It is an exercise in problem solving and decision making. Thus, planning is a systematic thinking about ways and means for accomplishment of predetermined goals. Planning is necessary to ensure proper utilization of human and non-human resources. It is all pervasive. It is an intellectual activity and it also helps in avoiding confusion, uncertainties, risks, wastages, etc. Various definitions on planning are given below. According to Alford and Beat, planning is the thinking process, the organized foresight, the vision based on fact and experience that is required for intelligent action. According to Theo Hyman, planning is deciding in advance what is to be done. When a manager plans, he projects a course of action for further attempting to achieve a consistent coordinate structure of operations aimed at the desired results. According to Billy E. Goetz, planning is fundamentally choosing and a planning problem arises when an alternative course of action is discovered. According to Kuhns and O'Donnell, planning is an intellectual process, conscious determination of course of action, the basing of decision on purpose, facts and considered estimates. According to Allen, a plan is a trap laid to capture the future. Need for planning. Though planning does not assurance of success in organizational objectives, good formal planning consistently results in better outcomes than with none or limited formal planning. It involves the selection of objectives, policies and programs from among alternatives. According to Kuhns and O'Donnell, without planning, business becomes random in nature and decisions become meaningless and ad hoc choices. Planning becomes necessary due to the following reasons. Reduction of uncertainty. Since future is always full of uncertainties, a business organization has to predict the uncertainties to operate successfully. Some of the uncertainties can be predicted by undertaking systematic forecasting. Thus, planning helps in foreseeing uncertainties which may be caused by changes in technology, fashion and taste of people, government rules and regulations, etc. Better utilization of resources. Planning is required to make effective and proper utilization of enterprise resources. It identifies all such available resources and makes optimum use of these resources. Increases organizational effectiveness. Planning guarantees organizational effectiveness. Effectiveness ensures that the organization is in a position to achieve its objective due to increased efficiency of the organization. Reduces the cost of performance. With the help of the planning, the cost of performance can be reduced. Planning involves the selection of only one course of action amongst the different courses of action that would yield the best results at minimum cost. It removes tentativeness, avoids crisis and confusion, eliminates false steps, and protects against improper deviations. Focus on objectives. It is a vital characteristic of planning that it is related to the organizational objectives. Planning facilitates the attainment of objectives by focusing attention on them. It requires the clear definition of objectives so that most appropriate alternative courses of actions are chosen. Helps in coordination. Excellent plans merges the interdepartmental activity and clearly lay down the area of freedom in the development of various subplans. Various departments work in accordance with the overall plans of the organization. Thus, there is a harmony in the organization and duplication of efforts and conflicts are avoided. Makes control effective. Planning and control are inseparable in the sense that unplanned action cannot be controlled. Since control involves keeping activities on the programmed course by rectifying deviations from plans. Planning helps control by furnishing standards of performance. Encouragement to modernization. Planning helps the managers to think innovatively and decide about new ideas when planning. It creates a forward-looking attitude among the managers. Increase in competitive strength. Effective planning gives a competitive edge to the enterprise over competitors. This is because planning may involve expansion of capacity, changes in work methods, changes in quality, anticipation of tastes and fashions of people and technological changes, etc. Delegation is facilitated. A good plan always facilitates delegation of authority in a better way to subordinates. Planning process. Establishing objectives. The objectives should be established for the organization as a whole and then divided into departmental and sectional objectives. Identifying and defining the real problem. Identify and define the problem which may arise in course of time. Collecting and analyzing information. Before the implementation of real planning, all relevant information and data relating to planning problems are collected and analyzed. Determining planning platform or forecasting. The assumptions on which plan are based are known as planning premises. They are a forecast of future conditions, assessment of future demand, customers' taste, and competition in the market can be made with the help of forecasting. Identifying alternative course of action. Usually there are several alternative plans. The planner should therefore try to find out all of the possible alternatives and their probable consequences. Evaluation of alternative courses of action. Evaluation means the study of performance of various actions. Once alternative action plans have been decided, they should be evaluated in the light of cost, speed, quality, and so on. Selecting the best course of action. At this stage, the manager selects the course of action which will prove to be the best in terms of achieving organizational objectives. Follow-up action. The last step in the planning process is to put the selected course into practice and develop its derivative plans such as policies, procedures, schedules, methods, budgets, etc. Goals. Definition. An observable and measurable end result having one or more objectives to be achieved within a more or less fixed time frame. These are general guidelines that explain what you want to achieve in your community. They are usually long-term and represent global visions such as protect public health and safety, Goals are statements you make about the future for your business. Significance of goals. Goal setting helps defining the direction that a business will take. Goals should align with the mission and vision statement of your business, which are even more general and abstract statements of your business, values, and aspirations. The language used in goals can be more emotional than is used in objectives. Goals allow business owners to think conceptually and not be muted in their creative thought process. Objectives. Specific results that person or system aims to achieve within a time frame and with available resources. They define strategies or implementation steps to attain the identified goals. Goals are general, but objectives are specific, measurable, and have a defined completion date. They are more specific and outline the who, what, when, where, and how of reaching the goals. Objectives are the exact steps to reach the goals. They are written without emotion and they are typically measurable and quantifiable. They also are realistic and attainable and have an associated timeline. Significance of objectives. Business uses objectives to measure their success and progress towards their goals. Without them, goals seem out of reach. Objectives can be motivational to business owners and employees as meeting objectives provides a sense of accomplishment. According to business plan writer Andrew Smith, when the objectives are easy to write, it is an indication that the overall business strategy is on the right track. Comparison chart. Meaning. The purpose towards which an endeavor is directed. An objective is something that one's effort or actions are intended to attain or accomplish, purpose or target. Example, I want to achieve success in the field of genetic research and do what no one has ever done. Objective is, I want to complete this thesis on genetic research by the end of this month. Action, generic action or better still, an outcome towards which we strive. Objective, specific action, the objective supports attainment of the associated goal. Measure, goals may not be strictly measurable or tangible. Objective must be measurable and tangible. Time frame, longer term, and objective mid to short term. Tourism planning is a process of coordinating land use planning, economic development, and community participation to develop or improve tourism in a nation, region, and destination. The need for tourism planning to avoid eventual decline of a destination. A tourism plan and development program can provide guidelines for areas in which the government and the private sectors with little or no experience on how to develop these areas. A tourism plan is necessary to coordinate the different sectors to better service the needs for tourism and the general public. Through an integrated tourism plan, the various direct and indirect economic benefits of tourism can be achieved. The benefits of tourism planning. A responsible tourism plan is a means to attain environmental conservation objectives through the development of tourist attractions, facilities, and infrastructure. A careful tourism plan is a means to achieve a cultural conservation objectives and produce socio-cultural benefits. A good tourism plan is a means in which the natural and cultural resources for tourism are maintained, not destroyed in the development process. The right type of tourism plan can be used to invigorate poorly developed tourism destinations. Careful planning is necessary to develop specialized training facilities for the education and training for particular manpower skills and abilities. Elements of tourism planning. Major elements in tourism planning are decided based on the tourism destination. The elements of tourism plan are discussed as follows. Market analysis. This is done based on a thorough study of past and present trends, traveler profiles, traveler performances and habits, market position and destination images. Assessment of available resources. The tourism resources are to be assessed. They are visitor attractions, culture, manpower, infrastructure and superstructure. Infrastructure refers to all underground and surface construction of a region. Superstructures are the facilities and services that are above the ground such as hotels, resorts, restaurants, etc. Transportation, support services and accommodation. Marketing. Marketing involves the process of selecting a target, choosing strategies to reach a market, establishing objectives, coordinating the efforts of those involved in promoting the destination and evaluating the successes and failures. Economic and financial analysis. Careful analysis of economic conditions and financial requirements such as feasibility studies, cash flow, available capital and interest rates. Environment. The aim of tourism planning is to develop the natural resources of the area without destroying them and to improve the natural beauty of the area. Social impact. To avoid congestion and to be able to distribute tourism resources over a wider area, resorts are planned and constructed away from population centers. Important factors that affect the planning and development of tourism are as follows. Environmental factors like good climate, beautiful scenery, etc. Socio-economic factors like accessibility, accommodation, amenities, ancillary services, etc. Historical and cultural factors, religious factors and other factors. Factors influencing tourism planning and development. Now let's discuss about factors affecting the growth of tourism. Environmental factors. Two main environmental factors, those play a vital role in planning and growth of tourism. Good climate. Good climate is one of the most important features of attraction for any tourist place. Pleasant climate with warmth and plenty of sunshine attracts tourists who come from temperate and colder regions. For instance, most of the seaside resorts in USA and UK are located on a warmer southeast. On other hand, people from summer areas migrate to cooler regions to seek pleasure of cold, fresh environment. For example, in India, places like Lonavala, Mahabaleshwar near Mumbai, Kulu and Manali, Shillong, Kashmir, so on are well known for their cool and pleasant climate. Other countries with cooler climate that attract tropical tourists are Switzerland, Sweden, etc. Beautiful scenery. Places with scenic attractions are the tourism blooming areas. For example, sunrise and sunset points, long sea beaches, freshwater lakes, waterfalls, etc. often attract large number of tourists. Socio-economic factors. Four important socio-economic factors that influence the planning and development of tourism are accessibility. Ease of access is the most important socio-economic factor. All tourist centers must be easily accessible by various modes of transportation like roads, railways, air and water. To enjoy nature's beautiful sightseeing, traveling by roads and railways is a better option. If a tourist plans to reach a remote tour destination in the quickest possible time, then airway is the most suitable choice. Generally, waterways are seldom selected unless a tourist decides to enjoy a luxury cruise experience in sea or interested to visit an isolated archipelago. Accommodation. Good accommodation and catering facilities are the second important requirement in tourist spots. Lifestyle, standard of living, capacity to spend money, nature of services expected, etc. of the tourist are the factors which decide type of accommodation required by tourists. Classification of accommodation centers, it is various hotels, motels, dormitories, etc. on basic of rating like 5 stars and below are essential so that tourists can make a proper choice and plan their trips appropriately. Generally, tourism mostly prospers in those areas where good lodging and food facilities are available at reasonable prices. Amenities. Growth of tourism at a particular place is also influenced by crucial factors like how well the site is maintained for touring activities like skiing, roping, paragliding, rowing, fishing, surfing, safari, adventure, etc. Availability of emergency facilities are also considered. Ancillary services. If a tour destination is equipped by ancillary services like internet and telecom, banking and finance connectivity, hospitals, insurance, so on, then such a place succeeds to hold more tourists for a long time. Historical and cultural factors. Places of historical significance and rich cultural heritage attract many tourists. People love and enjoy exploring destinations where there are famous ancient monuments, marvelous forts, castles and palaces of earlier kings and queens, etc. Examples of places that are famous throughout the world for their historical and cultural accounts are Taj Mahal in India, Nazca Lines and Machu Picchu in Peru, Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, Great Wall of China and Stonehenge in England. Religious factors. People go for pilgrimage tour to religious places to seek inner peace, get blessings of their favorite deities and gurus, attain salvation before death, etc. Here faiths, beliefs and sentiments of people contribute in booming tourists at holy places. Examples of places that are well known for their religious significance are Jerusalem in Israel, Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia, Varanasi and Amritsar in India, etc. Political factors. Political change in a country can also seriously impact the prospects for tourism industry in the country. Radical changes in a country's politics can cause tourists to fear for their safety and therefore avoid a country. For example, Thailand, which has various popular beach resorts, has had political unrest which at one point extended to the occupation of the airport in its capital. This sort of political change is likely to have negative impacts on the tourism industry. Other factors. Sometimes other factors also contribute towards planning and growth of tourism at unexpected places. For example, UFO crash site in Roswell, New Mexico, USA attracts many tourists around the world. Research activities and adventures of deep seas and caves, geological studies of hot water springs and geysers, seismic analysis of active volcanoes, investigation of paranormal activities in abandoned ghost towns, etc. also contribute in developing tourism on some scale. So, these are some of the main factors influencing the planning and growth of tourism. Conclusion. Planning plays a vital role in any kind of activity. We have understood clearly the meaning and importance of goals and objectives in the planning process. Since tourism plays an important role in achieving the overall elevation of the country, we have discussed its need, benefits and the factors influencing planning and development. Thank you.